The average American family spends somewhere between $75 and $100 every month on fresh fruit, from lemons and figs to blueberries, according to USDA data. Prices keep climbing, and most of us simply continue to pay without questioning it. Many videos about container fruit trees hand you a checklist of 13 trees and stop there, but they often skip the critical details. What truly affects whether you thrive or fail? How long until you can actually harvest your first fruit? How much money will you genuinely save? And can the tree endure your winter conditions? Today, we're breaking down 5 trees, revealing the precise varieties, real-world costs, and honest timelines. We'll also expose 3 mistakes that doom 90% of first attempts. Fewer trees, deeper understanding. Every figure presented comes straight from USDA records and university extension research. No hype, no guessing, just facts. Let's start with tree number 1. The $50 initial setup can return $141 per year and continue producing for decades. Surprisingly, some trees even thrive more when their roots are confined. Most newcomers either select the wrong tree entirely, or place the right tree in the wrong container in the wrong zone, or pick an unsuitable variety. Money wasted, tree lost, and then wonder why their thumb isn't green. Each tree will be rated on 4 critical criteria: time until first harvest, tolerance for neglect, annual grocery savings, and USDA hardiness zone range. Every tree on this list has been meticulously measured against these benchmarks. At number 5, we have the pomegranate, variety Nana, for a dwarf option under 5 feet, or ambrosia if you prefer a sweeter fruit. It thrives in a 15-gallon container, and setup costs are about $70. Suitable for zones 8 through 11, you'll need patience. Expect 3 to 4 years before the first harvest. That's the longest wait on our list, but the reward is substantial. A pomegranate can live over 15 years in a container, self-pollinates and tolerates drought like almost nothing else. If you miss a watering, it doesn't mind. Winter care is straightforward because it naturally drops leaves. Simply move it into a garage at 30 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit and leave it alone until spring. The investment is long-term, but so is the reward. Number 4 speeds up the timeline, yet it comes with higher costs. The Meyer lemon, improved variety grafted onto flying dragon rootstock, remains compact for container growth. Begin with a 5-gallon pot, moving up to 15 or 25 gallons over time. Setup expenses range from $115 to $135, making it the priciest tree on the list. It thrives outdoors in zones 9 through 10. According to Penn State Extension, expect fruit in roughly 10 months. Sounds fast, right? In reality, year 1 might yield only 3 lemons. The tree will drop dozens of tiny fruits as it determines how much it can support. Lemons cost about 62 cents per pound at the store, so initial savings are modest. Where the Meyer lemon shines is longevity. 15 to 50 years in a container, and nothing compares to a blooming lemon on your porch. Winter care demands diligence. Bring it indoors before temperatures drop below 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Provide a grow light and hand pollinate with a small brush. The effort is greater than with other trees, yet the fragrant blossoms reward you every day. Number 3 becomes intriguing for anyone willing to track one specific number carefully, combining patience and attention with tangible rewards. When it comes to blueberries, the varieties Jelly Bean and Top Hat stand out. Both are half-high types, remaining between 1 and 2 feet tall, making them ideal for container growth. Plant them in a pot, at least 18 inches deep, with setup costs hovering around $75. According to Illinois Extension, these bushes thrive in zones 4 through 8. One mature bush can yield 6 to 15 pounds annually, translating to roughly 80 to 90% of what you would harvest in the ground, with fruit retailing between $4 and $6 per pound. A single bush saves you $43 to $60 each year. Blueberries, however, have one uncompromising requirement: soil pH. It must remain between 4.5 and 5.5. If it rises above that range, the plant halts fruit production entirely. During the first 1 to 2 years, pinch off flowers so the roots can establish. Blueberries also need winter chill hours outdoors. Bringing them inside disrupts their natural cycle. Keep the pH in check, and these bushes can live for decades, rewarding patience with consistent harvests. The previous 3 trees require patience, but the next 2 favor those willing to act quickly. Number 2 delivers fruit in just 3 months, and number 1 produces even more when its roots are restricted. Before revealing those 2, there's a piece of biology that reshapes how you approach container gardening: root confinement. Think of it as a deadline. When time and space are unlimited, expansion occurs in every direction and tasks can be delayed. But once a deadline approaches, focus intensifies and effort consolidates into a final product. Trees operate in a similar way. When roots hit the sides of a container, the plant perceives stress. Growth hormones decline while fruiting hormones rise. Energy shifts from leaf development toward fruit production. Research in Sensia Horticulturae confirms that root-restricted trees exhibit lower growth hormone levels and elevated stress hormones, like ethylene, which also boosts sugar concentration in the fruit. This principle works exceptionally well for figs, Meyer lemons, and pomegranates. Strawberries and blueberries, however, naturally have shallow root systems, so restricting their roots doesn't trigger the same response. They appear on this list for different reasons: speed and return on investment. Understanding this distinction is crucial for anyone serious about container fruit gardening. For strawberries, the Festival and Ozark Beauty varieties take the spotlight. Both are day neutral, meaning they keep producing fruit continuously rather than once per season. Plant them in a container at least 8 inches deep and 12 inches wide, with setup costs around $37 for 5 plants. They thrive across zones 3 through 10, giving them the broadest hardiness range on the list. From planting to first harvest, expect only 3 to 4 months. Each plant yields roughly 3/4 to 1 pound of berries. At retail prices of $3.70 to $4.50 per pound, 5 plants in a single container can save you $20 to $25 annually. It's not the largest financial return, but it represents the lowest barrier to entry: $37 in 3 months to enjoy fresh strawberries on your porch. Strawberries have limitations. They produce well for only 2 to 3 years before replacement is needed. They do not tolerate drought, and root confinement offers no advantage. They earn their spot because nothing else gets a novice from zero to harvest faster. The top spot belongs to the fig, variety Violette de Bordeaux for a compact tree yielding 2 crops annually, or Chicago Hardy for cold tolerance down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. A 15-gallon container costs between $50 and $60. A fig in a 15-gallon pot can generate 150 to 200 fruits per season, according to Tridge and USDA data. Fresh figs retail at $7.14 to $8.50 per pound, translating to $118 to $141 in annual grocery savings from a $50 tree. Figs self-pollinate, tolerate drought better than nearly any fruit tree on this list, and regenerate from the roots, even if the top dies back. Root confinement is their secret. Restrict the roots, and the tree channels energy into fruit production. Winter care is simple. Let it go dormant, move it to a dark garage at 30 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and water once a month. First harvest occurs around 1 year. My grandmother grew a fig tree on her back porch for 30 years, watering it when she remembered and pruning it when it brushed the screen door. Yet it produced enough figs to share with every neighbor on the block. This is the lazy gardener's tree. Even figs, however, can die if you commit one of 3 common mistakes. Mistake number 1 is more prevalent than underwatering: waterlogging. Signs include soil staying wet for days, a heavy pot, yellowing leaves from the bottom up, and a sour smell near the base. This is root rot, the silent yield killer in container gardening, more damaging than underwatering. Trees most affected include blueberries and Meyer lemons. The fix: use a pot with multiple drainage holes and add a layer of perlite at the bottom. Mistake number 2 is using garden soil instead of a soilless potting mix. Indicators include soil drying into hard, cracked clumps, water running through without soaking in, and a white mineral crust forming on the surface. Research from South Texas citrus nurseries shows that garden soil loses structure in containers, compacts, suffocates roots, and allows salt buildup to block nutrients. The worst affected trees are figs and Meyer lemons. The solution: always use a soilless mix composed of peat moss, bark, and perlite. Never place garden soil in a container. Mistake number 3 is skipping fertilizer. Signs include tiny, pale new leaves and flowers that bloom only to drop without setting fruit, a condition called chlorosis. Soilless mixes lack the natural nutrient cycle of garden beds. No earthworms or microbes breaking down organic matter. You must feed the plant with liquid NPK every 1 to 2 weeks during the growing season. Blueberries are hardest hit, as their production ceases entirely if pH rises above 5.5. Regular acidifying fertilizer is essential. Container gardening is not merely shrinking a garden, it is managing a small, isolated ecosystem. Get these 3 factors right, and your trees can outlive your mortgage. Here's a recap of the 5 trees. Number 1, fig, $50 setup, $141 in annual savings, decades of life, and thrives when root-bound. Number 2, strawberry, fastest to harvest in just 3 months, entry cost $37. Number 3, blueberry, offers decades of production if pH is maintained. Number 4, Meyer lemon, the most aromatic tree you will ever own, requiring patience and a grow light. Number 5, pomegranate, the long game with 3 to 4 years until first fruit, but nearly indestructible. Avoid the 3 mistakes: waterlogged pots, garden soil in containers, and skipping fertilizer, and your trees will survive their first year with flying colors. The $50 tree delivering $141 per year in savings is the fig, Violette de Bordeaux in a 15-gallon pot, the tree that craves being root-bound. Fewer trees, deeper roots, that is the lazy gardener's philosophy. Happy gardening.